Hi there, welcome to Series 16 and number 39. We're talking about when Joseph has already spoken to his brothers, and Joseph tells his brothers to go home and bring their father to Egypt so that he can be protected from the famine that's already been going on. He says this in verse 9, "Hurry and go up to my father and say to him, 'Thus says your son Joseph, God has made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down and do not tarry. You shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you shall be near to me, you and your children and your children's children, your flocks and your herds, and all that you have. There I will provide for you, lest you and your household and all that you have come to poverty. For there are still 5 years of famine.'" Whoa. It goes on, "And behold, your eyes and the eyes of your brother Benjamin see that it is my mouth that speaks to you, so that you shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt and of all that you have seen, and you shall hurry and bring my father down." It's incredible when you think about it, isn't it? It's an incredible story how this is all going to come to pass. He goes on in that passage. "Then he fell on his brother Benjamin's neck, and he wept, and Benjamin wept on his neck. Moreover, they kissed all his brother and wept over them after his brothers had talked with him." This is a mind-blowing story, and you could nearly finish it there, but there's a bit to go yet. It says there, "Thus says your son Joseph." This was the message to be sent back to Jacob. That must have been mind-blowing, because Jacob thought he was dead. When Jacob eventually heard this, it was one of the greatest days of his life. He had the joy of learning that the favoured son, who would save his brothers, who was given up for the dead, is now alive. He could not have expected that. He could not have dreamt of that, because the information that he had was so different. Notice it says there this message was urgent. There was no need to hold back the message of the living son who could rescue and provide for the whole family. They should hurry in delivering the message. The Christian should have a similar urgency with the message of Jesus. We should hurry to tell people and deliver the message of who he is. But unfortunately, we hold back. We hold back and we think now's not the time. But now was the time for Joseph's brothers to share with their father. And notice the message was about, "Tell my father of all my glory." It would have been good news to hear that Joseph lived, and Jacob would have been overjoyed to know that Joseph was alive, even if he was still a slave, I suppose. But he is now. It's beyond comprehension to hear that Joseph was not only alive, but he had been raised to such power and glory that he could provide for the entire family through what's going to be a really tough 5 years of famine. Okay. Great story, as I said. It says there, he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. Joseph was affectionate and loving to all of his brothers, despite what had gone before. Joseph didn't exclude those who had been especially cruel to him. His heart was open to his brothers, both as a group and as individuals within that group. After that, his brothers talked with him. This must have been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. There was a lot to catch up on. We'll leave it there, and we'll come back to it next week.